So this has all happened to us at some point in time. So we strip out the hex in the center of our rim. This is our newly acquired Kraton. This is the center. This is was right rear, I believe, off of the Kraton. If you watch the box destruction video, you'll see when this thing came off. I don't know if you can see it in the camera or not, but in there you can. What happened? We did end up as the nut lost the nut on the outside. As it got loose, of course, it stripped the inside of that rim a little bit. Right. So fortunately, it is not that bad. If you get it in there, it'll actually still sit in fairly well, but if you've ever done this before, you know that once you've stripped it, you've weakened it, if you go back and you try to use it again, it is going to just continue to round out on you. So I'm going to try something today to see if I can fix this. First, one of my idea here is I'm going to offset the hex. So I'm actually going to tighten it down in a way that it's not in its normal location. And then in the gaps left behind, I'm actually going to put some small nails. We drill a small hole, put a small nail, and see if I can't actually reinforce the whole thing. If I need to, use some epoxy. I really want to see if I can't salvage what's there. So, let's watch. Let's see what happens. We're going to use these nails here. It's a finish nail. You can see the small head on it. I think this is a size 3, this 3D, something like that. I forget what they call it. I just have a box of them laying around. It appears to be roughly the right size. You can see when it goes in there, it's not going to be too big. It's not going to take up a whole bunch of the rim and maybe weaken it in that way. Found a drill bit that is the same size, so that's what I'm going to use. Figure once I get them in there, I'm going to glue them in. Now, one thing I got to figure out is this is certainly too long. Right, it only needs to be maybe ½ inch long or something along those lines, and this is definitely more than that. So once I test fit the first one, I'm gonna probably cut it. I have a Sawzall, probably put it in the vise, cut it, and get it to the right length. Plus, I don't really need that head on there, so if I can do that, cut it to the right length and tap it in, I think that'll be right. Just in my first 2 hits, one thing that's kind of interesting to note is it's really hard to hit right at the edge of the hex. I've been able to hit, I don't know, I have no idea if you can see this on in the camera or not, but I've been able to hit kind of an area just above a corner, which is what my thought was, is I wanted to hit right next to the corners, each location around, to give those corners something to push on, something metal. I got one that's just slightly away from it. Thinking by the time I shove it in there, it actually goes in pretty nice. Once I get it in there, it'll actually be about where I want it. The second one, when I drilled it, kept wanting to slide more towards the hex itself. You can see that there. It wants to actually cut into the hex, which is not really what I'm wanting here, right? So I'm going to try to re-drill this one or move it over just slightly because I don't think that one's going to work. Now, as long as you can see this, we have holes all around the rim, all around the hex, sorry, on that inside. And we're gonna, pretty much at the corners, not always perfect. Sometimes they didn't want to drill quite right. As long as you can see that, let me see if I can get the camera here. So all around the edges have holes right on the perimeter of the hex all the way around. Maybe not perfectly placed, maybe not exactly right, but we're going to try it and see if that works. See, I just marked this with a Sharpie, and it is not that far in. Let's take a look. Yeah, maybe just a little bit. I'll probably cut it somewhere around the 7-8 millimeter location, something like that. Somewhere just about 1/4 inch is what we'll be looking at. And I'm going to chop that off and shove one of these in and see what it looks like. Alright, there it is in the rim. So it in the wheel. So it sits in there. Important part is it can't come through to interfere with your hex on this side at all, with your nut that goes on the other side. Making progress. Now time to do a lot more. So I noticed something as I was attempting to test fit this. So I got these all smoothed out. Fits nicely on this side. So all of that I think will be well. Haven't glued it yet, just doing a test fit. Go to test fit it on the Kraton, and one thing I noticed is you can't really tell, right, if the hex is lined up or not, because it's not as defined as it once was when it was brand new. Eventually you wiggle it and you get there, and what do you get? Because some of these aren't drilled just right, you poke one out. So I think some of these have just got to go. Maybe I just drilled them in slightly the wrong location. But when you put it back on, no, that's a problem. Can't have it interfering. So once I eliminated, you just saw me eliminate the one, eliminate a second one, and after that it seems like it's okay. Goes right on, feels tight on the hex, like you see the axle moving the whole time. Seems like it might be okay. So next step is I'm going to put some glue in a little bit of these holes on both sides, just to kind of help those hexes stay there. And then let that dry up a little bit. I'm just going to use some super glue. Let that dry up a little bit. We will bolt it on and give it a shot. All right, now the tire is on. Wheel is nutted up. Everything looks appropriate. We're going to take it out and give it a run. See what it looks like. Alright, we have run around in my yard now for a full pack. Pack is dead. Most of what you saw there, right? Dog chasing me around in the grass, full throttle blast on the driveway, things like that. And it's holding up. It's working. So at the end of the day, final verdict, is this best case scenario? Is this a great way to fix a tire? Probably not. I imagine that this won't last forever. But heck, between now and being able to order a new set of tires, it keeps me bashing, right? Keeps me going, keeps me having fun. So if you get a stripped hex, I'd suggest you try this. It seems like it's working. All right, see you later, guys. Bye.